Hi, I'm back. I know it's been a while, right? So let's get on with business here. The title of today's blog is How Am I Recovering from the Trauma of Being Poor? I came to realize that being poor is a traumatic experience. You do have the people that go from being poor to extremely rich, but there's a process along the way if they're going to keep their money. It's a process of learning how to manage money or the lack thereof and rewriting value thoughts. There is a process of learning how to save and invest money along with rewriting self worth thoughts. The skills of money management are like knowing how to eat healthily, changing the poverty mindset and the connected and underlying value thoughts is like creating a dietary lifestyle shift. Today's blog is about my process of recovering from the trauma of being poor and how I'm battling the connection between self worth and purchases. So let's go back to my formative years. We can call 'em my teenage years. I lived in a small town and we were poor. I'm not really sure how many people knew we were poor because I always tried to hide it or minimalize it. But it was a small town and everyone knew, I'm guessing. Or at least they guessed we were poor. It was clear we didn't wear name brand clothes, and getting stuff for school was a financial stressor on my family. Therefore, I paid for as much of it as possible and only asked when I could not get the money or fake my way around it. My parents could not always supply what we needed beyond the basics, but they did their best. And that's what's important to know is that my parents did the best they could. They both worked minimum wage jobs, which you probably already know it's not a living wage. And they made enough money to get a minimal amount of government aid, but certainly they didn't make enough to get ahead. And when I was old enough, I got a job to fund the fun things teenagers should go out and do. You know, go to lunch with a friend, put gas in the car, drive around, do nothing all day except for listen to the radio. I was working to fund those things, but because I was working, I never really had the time to go do them. I took in part of extracurriculars like band, drama, volleyball, cheerleading. However, I always dreaded away games, especially when we stopped at Burger King and we stayed a while. I dreaded them because if I hadn't saved the $5 from my job, I didn't get to eat after the game. I'd play it off like I was hungry or I spent a significant amount of time in the bathroom so I could hide while everybody else was eating. I did not mind so much when we grabbed food to eat on the bus because I sat somewhere in the middle or near the front, and kids would pass up their half eaten sandwiches, which became my dinner. Sometimes, maybe a little too often, I'd volunteer to eat the fries that nobody else wanted. Sometimes, the kids who regularly teased and taunted me would catch on and bring it to everybody else's attention that I was eating the garbage. The teasing didn't hurt me as much as the shame and the embarrassment. These repeated moments of pretending not to be hungry, or sneaking other people's garbage, or knowing that I had to keep $5 for the next game or event became ingrained in me. I see now, you know, 20, almost 30 years later, how all those moments like that influenced my early adulthood choices. It was because of these moments I have and have had tendencies towards certain types of purchases. I love to eat out. It makes me feel good. I loved to buy brand name clothes. Now I don't care so much. I refused to use coupons, buy generic, get stuff on clearance or on sale. But living during the recession of 2008 and 2009 without a job and only on my husband's minimum wage job income, yeah, that helped replace that pride, the pride of the coupon king and the coupon queen. Of course, he was a little better at it than I was. We basically, like I said, gamified who could get the best deals. These moments even influenced the fact that I only wanted to have brand new things for my firstborn child. However, I learned my lesson with my second child that getting used was pretty much the same because babies don't use things and wear them out. And you can get more for less at that point, right? So, why are these buying patterns and thoughts important? Because eating out, purchasing top brands, not using coupons, not buying generic, and not having someone else's discarded items allowed me to be like the cool rich kids. Well, maybe I should say it's being more like me not being that kid who ate everybody else's garbage food. And unfortunately, purchasing under these circumstances meant I needed to put these items on credit because I did not make enough money to afford them. I had multiple minimum wage, non living wage jobs for a long time in my life, despite the fact that I had a bachelor's degree in international business and Spanish. I was still working non living wage jobs, so my purchasing power was minimal. Let alone, I didn't have a financial system in place or any idea about budgeting and keeping track of money. Money flows through my bank account like water over a waterfall during a spring downpour while the earth is thawing from a snow heavy winter. How's that for imagery? I always thought I needed to manage my money better, and I thought I just needed more discipline. But like a diet, a money management system or a budget only lasts and works if you make it work. And just like a diet, a money management or budgeting system lasts if the willpower lasts. So when I finally decided to do something about the waterfall of money, I failed with system after system after system. I failed because I failed to make the mind shift changes. And then, bit by bit, I could make minor mental shifts to make permanent lifestyle changes. And then the system started to work. However, at the beginning, I didn't connect the two together. So, how does someone make a permanent lifestyle change? Those not good enough thoughts, they had to change. I didn't realize what those underlying thoughts were until I started writing this blog. In a roundabout way, I knew I had mental money issues, and I thought it was more surface thoughts that were related to self discipline and not self worth. Once I realized that it was self worth, I could call out the lie and replace it with the truth. So, for example, hand me downs and generic items do not define my value. I am worthy and valuable, even when I buy things on clearance or with a coupon. I am making smart money choices when I shop generic. My value is not tied to my purchasing power. Some of these, as you know, need a little bit more work to make them more positive sounding, but you get the point of the direction that I'm headed. So, how do you go about recovering from the trauma of poverty? You must discard the mental garbage. Then your financial system will work better. You must have the ability to see your worth beyond how you spend your money. You will find it easier to say no to extravagant purchases because you have other money goals. And purchasing does not define your worth. You will find it easier to walk away from living on credit because you want to be at peace and in integrity with yourself. Your value becomes more than your fake image that you wish to portray. Your value is your authentic self when it shines through. And the best part, that you will love your authentic self because you have discarded the lies and the garbage you have been telling yourself all these years. That is how I'm recovering from the trauma of being poor. And that is how you can recover too. All right. I do hope you have a wonderfully blessed